ॐ स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः।
Dear friends, welcome back to the study of the Bhagavad Gita, the chapter 4, and we have concentrated our attention to the shloka number, verse number 24 and 25. I'm sorry I take a long time of yours to highlighting the inner meaning of the next 8 or 9 shlokas. It is very archaic, to some extent very obsolete, because we have moved away so much from the existing thought processes of that time India, when the Gita was recited. Today it appears to be almost non-understandable. But it is not so. And that is why I pay so much of attention to these 2 shlokas, and I will crave your indulgence to bear with me. Now, what is the purpose? The purpose is the teacher sees how we are suffering in this world. The teacher sees we are suffering, but we think we are enjoying. So why this difference? That somebody with some perspective of understanding, some attitude of knowing, says you are suffering. And the person who is being told you are suffering, he says, I'm sorry. He says, I'm enjoying. That's the first point. Now, the definition of suffering and definition of enjoying. The biggest catch between the 2 is the durability of that sensation. How long does it last? The teacher says, I will teach you a method, a procedure. I'll explain to you a perspective by means of which you will be eternally habit and full of ecstatic divine joy. I can teach you that, provided you want to learn. And I say, I am happy with this world. Please don't disturb me. If I say so, I close my doors and windows and I shut myself in a world of my own. But there is another world where if you open your doors and windows, fresh ideas, man-making, character-building ideas will enter through those open doors and windows, and you are exposed to a new, different perspective, new, different attitude, new, different way of life. This is the concept between the teacher says, my dear child, don't suffer. And I have 2 options. I say, let me be as I am. you better go elsewhere. So I refuse to grow, whereas the world is changing and moving, and I want to be inert and static. Do I want to be that? The whole world is moving. The word Jagat means Gacchati iti Jagat. The whole world is in a constant flow, in a constant move. And I want to be static? I cannot be. Either I go down and down and down into an inert object, or I open myself up, expose myself to man-making, character-building ideas, and I proceed. And the teacher says, I will take you there, where you and God will be the same. The choice is mine. As because we are students of this scripture, it is presupposed that we want to expose ourselves to these ideas. That is how we start. Now, teacher says, thou art that. Tat tvam asi. Tvam tat asi. You are that. He not only says so, he teaches you with 1,000 different perspectives, 1,000 different angles of vision, by means of which you can be one with God. So he says, you are that. And from that, I have to experience, I am Atma Brahma. This I of mine, this awareness of amness of mine is nothing else but the infinite, the eternal, the immutable, therefore the absolute eternal Brahma. And the teacher tells you 1,000 different ways. Whole of the scriptures, the Indian scriptures, the Upanishads, the Gita, the Bhagavad, and all other Prakara Granthas, they speak the same language. As there is a small little shloka which says, Shlokardhena prabhakshami. I will tell you in one line of a double line shloka. Shloka has 2 lines. I will explain to you essence of the whole gamut of teaching of Vedanta. Yad ukta grantha kotivi. Millions and millions of books have been written on it. I can explain to you the essence of it in half a shloka, that means in one line. What is that one line? Shlokardhena pravakshami jad ukta grantha kotivi jiva brahma nachapara. That is, this jiva, I, this limited me, is nothing else but Brahman in essence. This is what I am. Jiva Brahmaiva Nachapara. Jiva and Brahma, they are not different, they are one and the same. And there are 1,000 ways of understanding it. The way that the section we are in now is one of those attitudes. We have read the shloka number 24. What does the shloka number 24 say? Let me repeat it again. Let us refresh our memory and let us get deep into it. He says, Sri Krishna says here, look, Brahmarpanam, Yajna, is a must for everyday life. And it was a well-regulated, disciplined procedure. You can't do it the way you want to. You have to do it the way as it is prescribed. Why? That disciplines you physically, emotionally, rationally, and this mad ego is put in its proper place. You have to follow that. From that, the concept of obedience has come in. Listen to a senior what he is saying and profit yourself from those statements. So he says here now in the 24th shloka, a summation, a total conclusion, Arpanam Brahma. That is, whatever you offer is Brahman, physical. I am offering Havi into that sacred fire. Brahma Havi. Arpanam is Brahma, the activity. The material is Brahma. The fire is Brahma. And Brahmanahutam, the person who is offering is also Brahman. Non-inclusive awareness of oneness of the cosmos. All-inclusive, non-exclusive awareness of oneness of the eternal reality, truth, the Brahman. Brahmarpanam, Brahmahavi, Brahmagno, Brahmanahutam. Why? What for? Brahmaiva tena gantavayam. Tena, by these means and methods, by this procedure, you have to reach Brahman. How? Brahma karma samadhina. By performing the acts and deeds that is your flow of life, equating yourself with Brahma. This is what, according to our scriptures, the Gita, Samyak Darshana, a total integrated understanding of the whole cosmos. The isness, the awareness, and the divine ecstatic joy. Sat Sarup, Chit Sarup, Ananda Swarup Atma, Ananda Swarup Brahma. And I am Atma Brahma, Aham Brahmasmi is what I experience by perfecting this process and reaching the goal. Brahma Roop Karma, that is, karma means activity, and as I have told you many a times, life is nothing else but a constant flow of activity. And that activity is physical, emotional, rational, egocentric. I am, I want, I am motivated by my wanting and desire, and I act physically, I act emotionally, I plan rationally, and I get going about it. I am totally involved. What is the distinction? The distinction is, before I am exposed to this idea, before I am exposed to this idea, I am used to, habituated in expecting results from this world, fulfillment of my worldly desire. That is what I am doing unknowingly, because I am a slave of my habit of doing, thinking, feeling, acting. I am a slave. Why I am a slave? Because I have created such a force of habit, I only know how to move through that groove of the force of habit. He is opening the doors and windows of my understanding and is telling me, now you are doing things. Please do. I don't stop you. Only try to correct your attitude, correct your perspective, correct your understanding that I am spending my life and life's energy and time and force of my life to achieve something which is transitory. It is there for a while, it disappears after a while. It is in an ever flow, constant flow. Gacchati iti jagat, sansarati iti sansara. These are typical definitions. The world is in a constant flow and move. Nothing is permanent. Sansarati iti sansara. If you pour a bowl of water on the floor, it spreads out. And ultimately, it finds out, according to gravitation, where is the lowest point. Uncontrolled. So, he says, now you correct your attitude. Always be aware what I know as I am is that eternal entity, the reality, the absolute, the immutable, the eternal, the infinite. That is what I am. And that state of amness is Brahman, the real Atman. Jivatma evolves into Paramatma, and this Atma evolves into the awareness of Brahman. If that is so, why don't we create a habit within ourselves to be aware of presence of Brahman all the time? Now, the problem is, you say Brahman doesn't have a form, Brahman doesn't have a shape, size, Brahman doesn't have a name excepting Brahman, which means nothing to me. Brahman is absolute. So, how can I conceive? For our sake, that Brahman, Nirguna, Nirakara, Nirvikalpa Brahma, out of sheer compassion becomes Saguna, Sakara, Savikalpa, Ishvara, and that Ishvara again becomes Atandra Chaitanya Avatara. All these are conceptual stages to help you to conceive, to understand, to tell you you are Brahman. Yes, You say you are Brahman, I know so, and Brahman is Nirakar, Nirgun, Nirvikalpa, nameless, formless, sizeless, shapeless, timeless, everything less. I am unable to understand. For you, Saguna Sakar Savikalpa Brahma is being placed before you. Who is he? He runs the whole world. Shara Bhaga Sampanna Bhagavan. 5 absolute, infinite capabilities. We call them the creator, the preserver, the destroyer of the universe. I can now imagine. He is infinitely greater than me. His wisdom is infinitely greater than me. His understanding is, oh my, yes. He is in a human form. I can conceive of him as a human, but qualitatively, he is infinite. That is understandable. Let me then, which is within my conception, I concentrate on Saguna Brahma. Having done that, having achieved that, I qualify myself to be one with Nirguna Brahma. That too by the grace of Sarvabhaga Sampanna Ishvara. This is the procedure. And as because we are serious students of the Gita, the scriptural sciences of India, let us try to understand it absolutely rationally, intellectually, and that rational intellectual conviction must be unshakable, rock solid. Then only you will be totally motivated. Otherwise there will be no motivation. Either this or that, I don't know. Whether I go to the left or I go to the right, I don't know the way. You are motivated. The motivation cannot be actualized. Therefore, motivation should be rock solid. That makes it absolute motivation. Intellectual conviction should be rock solid, and that generates unstoppable motivation. This statement is both the sign and symptom of a realized soul, and as Pahari Baba used to say, Jana sadhana tana siddhi. And this is the sadhana, the effort that we have put in. What? My flow of life is unstoppable. Let it flow. But now it will flow in a different direction. What is that direction? Instead of the direction of desiring things of the world, now the direction is to be one with my Maker in heaven, God, or to know myself. Know thyself. Ko hamasmi, who am I? Aham brahmasmi, I am Brahman itself. This is the secret. So here he says, and you have to be very, very careful. Brahmarpanam, all right, I understand. Brahmavi, I understand. Brahmagni, I understand. Brahmanahutam, I understand. What is the second line? By this procedure of saturating yourself with the awareness of Brahman, every moment of your life, you are now being told by this procedure, Brahmaiva tena gantavyam. That is the goal of your life. How? Tena, by this methodology, by this procedure, you reach that goal. How? By converting your life into a Brahmarpanam yoga or Brahmarpanam yajna. My whole life, every moment of life is saturated with the awareness of presence of the divine, both within me and outside me. Nothing but Brahman is at the topmost level of awareness in my mind. And I cultivate it, I create a habit of it, and that habit saturates me, and what you think, so you become. You be and become one with that. So dear, this shloka is often repeated, but more we repeat, the less we forget its inner meaning. I know it. I know it by sound. I know it by vocabulary, the word. But what is the inner meaning? What is the lakshartha? This is shabdartha, bhakyartha. What is lakshartha? The lakshartha is Brahmaiva tena gantavyam. That is the goal of your life. How do I reach? You keep on telling me, be one with Brahman, be one with Brahman. How do I reach? Brahma karma samadhina. By converting your life into an endless awareness and endless cultivation of the awareness of presence of Brahman in our life. And that Brahman, because of us, our inability, let it be Saguna Brahma to start with. Why? Because Nirguna Nirakar Nirvikalpa Brahma is beyond our concept. Whereas Saguna Sakar Savikalpa Ishvara is within our concept. And more conceptual is, more easily conceptualized is Avatara. He says Avatara means that who has gone through the process of avatarana, descent. That is, Lord God of the universe, He decides my children who are supposed to come back to me are going wayward, they are going elsewhere. After all, they are my children. Out of sheer compassion, sa prayojana abhava api san. He has no personal act to grind. Bhuta anujigrikshaya. Because he is absolutely saturated with compassion. My children, they are going astray. Think of the worldly way when a father sees his son is going astray. How deeply he feels. Similarly, our Father in heaven decides to send his Son. That is symbolic. He himself has arrived. How come? He sends his Son. The Son says, me, I am here, son of Joseph and Mary, and my Father is in heaven. And that son of Mary through his procedures, he says at the last, me and my Father in heaven are one. I am Atma Brahma, Aham Brahmasmi. They talk the same language, only the language is different. They talk of the same thing, the language is different. Here now, we have got the essence of it. Next 10 shlokas. Let us go to the next shloka. Here he now rubs into us. Sri Krishna is a rubbing into us, as it were. What? The two ways of life. What are the two ways of life? Let us read this shloka and we will understand. Daivam eva apare yagyam yogina paryupashate. Paryupashate. Pari means inclusive, all inclusively, with total attention and care. Daivam. What is Daivam? Indriya, Agni, Varuna and Panchadevata, the rulers of Kiti, Apti, Jamarudvo. And they are running the whole cosmos. I know I live in nature. I am subject to nature's bounty. I am subject to nature's anger. I am subject to the fertility of the soil, and I am subject to drought. Therefore, let me continue to do something so that I don't violate the laws of nature, what we call ecological balance today, and we may gaga out of it. But this concept of ecological balance, physically, emotionally, rationally, was conceived in the Vedic ages. What is that? Indra, god of rains. Let me propitiate him. Let me wholehearted pray to him. And let me offer to him whatever I grow by the sweat of my brow. That is Havi Anna, that is Tandulam, Havi Annam. These are the things that I grow with my own hand, and I offer it to him to propitiate him. Please take care of me, my family, my wealth, so that I live happily in this world. What's wrong about it? I want to remain in a happy mood, happy manner here. What's wrong? So that is one aspect of performing yajna. All that paraphernalia, as you know. Then, Brahmagno apare yagyam yagyena upajuhati. The word upajuhati has to be very well underlined, and I'll explain to you what is it upajuhana. What does he say in the second line? In Brahma-rupa Agni. And we know Agni, fire, has the capacity to burn away the dirt. Apare, the other group. Apara means the other group. That is, in the world, there are two groups, he says, according to this text. What is that? One is those who are interested in worldly gains and worldly life, and the other who is interested to be one with God. So what do? I am Jiva Atma. Why I am Jiva Atma? Because I have attached myself with so many things. As for instance, I have attached myself with my body, my name, my qualities, my utilitarian value. I am so and so. I am that, I am this, the whole long of curricular witty or biodata. This I is nothing else but that. I have identified myself mistakenly, erroneously, ignorantly, allow me to use this word, stupidly. I have identified myself with what I am not. That is what I am. Now, I am mentally performing a yajna. Jnana Agni. What is that Jnana Agni? Awareness of presence of Brahman. In that Jnana Rupa Agni, I am offering this Jivatma into that fire of knowledge, so that this Jivatma is burnt and cleaned. All his attachments slowly and slowly disappear. He remains pure good, and he merges with his true original nature. Upajuhati. What is this Upajuhati? That is the awareness of oneness with that Absolute. I should be constantly aware what I know as of today, what I am, is a mistaken identity. I am trying to burn away this mistaken identity, symbolizing that awareness of presence of Brahman all the time as fire, and I'm burning away my dirt and dross. So in 2 lines of this shloka, Sri Krishna explains that either you pray to God, perform your yaga and yajna for the betterment, happiness of your worldly life. This is it. Otherwise, convert your flow of life into an endless yajna. And what type of yajna it is? It is in your mind, not in the outside paraphernalia. It's in your mind. Ekatma bodh. I am that. I am Atma Brahma. Or Tat Tvam Asi. That is what Guru tells you. And what do you realize? I am Atma Brahma. Aham Brahmasmi. This awareness is the fire of knowledge. Brahmagno. So, A person who wants to realize that goal, he constantly, without any let, without any break, without any hindrance, constantly is aware. Thou art that. I am Atma Brahma. This is Upajivana. Each word has a special lakshartha. Upajivana Shabdartha is, literal meaning is, you offer. But upa is a prefix which adds a little meaning. This offering is a mental, attitudinal process. I am constantly aware of the presence of the divine in me, and I try to offer me as I am with dirt and dross. I offer myself to the divine. And this awareness, I am that, is the fire which will burn me clean. So this is, I would say, a deflection or a little deviation from the previous shloka, but the idea remains the same. So shloka 24 is the main shloka, and from shloka 25 to 9 more shlokas, Sri Krishna will by contrast teach you how you can convert your life segmentally, sectionally, to be one with God. Let me read the next shloka for you today so that we can understand the flow of thought. Shrotradin indriyani anye sanjamagnishu juhati. Sanjama is restraint, self-disciplining. I will allow this thought to happen. I will not allow that thought to come. That self-restraint, that control on your own thinking is higher than controlling the activities of your body. I will not touch it. That is good enough. But I will not think of it. That is a little more subtle. If my mind goes there, because I am habituated, every time it goes there, I bring it back. That is not the place to be. This is the place to be. That is Sanjama. Now, that Sanjama is being symbolized or suggested as Agni, fire. What does fire do? Burn away the dirt and dross. That is what fire does. Burns away the dirt and dross. Shrotra adin indriyani anne sanjamagnishu juvati shavdadin vishananya indriyagneshu juhati. Indriyagneshu juhati. The second line. What is that? I have 5 sense organs. I have 5 sense organs. And each sense organ has an object. Eyes have the capacity of vision to see. The object of vision is the object of my sight. Vishaya, Indriya, tat tad vishaya. Shabda is the vishaya of the Shrutrendriya. Gandha is the vishaya of the nose. Rasa is vishaya of the tongue. And sparsha is the vishaya of skin. Thou, I with my sense organs see and I enjoy. I am enjoying the world with my 5 sense organs. That is a type of yajna. That is the type of yajna. I am enjoying. Whereas Shabdadin Vishananna Indriyagneshu Juvati. And the first sloka says Sanjamagneshu Juvati. That is, these Shrotradi Indriyani, I get hold of them and I offer it to the fire known as Sanjama Agni. I am restraining myself. So you see now, in all the following shlokas, he will define 2. What we are used to doing in life and how we should, by self-education, by determined, devoted, dedicated, disciplined manner, how we can shift our way of life into an endless interaction with the awareness of the presence of the Divine. All these shlokas, dear, they will contrast it in their own way. We'll come back to this shloka again and go forward in the next discussion. Thank you, dears. Thank you. God bless us all.
Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna